So I have been with Lisaard, this is my 16th year, so I have many, many impactful memories of residents and their families. To share some, I learned to communicate with British two-hand sign language because we had a resident who had lost his sight and his hearing due to the cancer, and that was a very powerful time to be able to communicate with someone in that way, and it helped me to learn. I learned something new.
We have residents who have family who are very musical, and there's a beautiful piano at Innisfree House, and occasionally people will be asking, can I play? And I say, yes, certainly. If you know how to deal with a nice piano like that, please do. And it's wonderful because sometimes the sound will fill the house and people will come and sit down in the room, and they're all there because they have a resident family member that's going to pass soon, and it's just something they can do in common. Enjoyment of music is something we can do in common, or we have in common.
They arranged for one of his friends to come and have a sleepover, which was just incredible. What a way to help him feel normal. And it was just always like that, whatever they could do to give him some sort of joy.
There was a young man here years ago at this house who was a huge Kiss fan, and one of our PSWs, just cold, like just on a whim, tried to reach Gene Simmons, and she did, and he phoned this guy and spoke to him shortly before his death. There have been weddings, celebrations, happy celebrations in this room. There was a large family having a big party and they were dancing. One time there was a husband and wife, and he was our resident, and they were going to be celebrating their last anniversary, and the staff, with him, we surprised his wife, and they had a nice intimate dinner together in their room. There's many, many stories that are beautiful.
The last day of David's life, I remember, I can't remember her name, but she was the nurse in the morning, and she came in and she said, "This isn't good enough." And I remember thinking, what does she mean? And there was quite a lot of us that day in the room. And she said, "I'm moving David," and she moved him into the sunroom. And we spent the whole last day of David's life in the sunroom, and it was absolutely beautiful because you could hear the birds, you could hear life outside the sunroom, the sun was coming in, it was so peaceful. And there was not one person who bothered us the whole day. We were able to spend that last day with David, and I will never, ever forget that.
We had a resident who had been here for a while, and a lot of our conversations happen in the kitchen over cooking and talking about recipes. So many years ago, I had helped gather recipes from the heart from lots of past families of residents, and created a cookbook called Recipes from the Heart. And we had a resident who was here who wanted to help. Even though she was in her bed, she submitted lots of recipes. She did proofreading to make sure they were right. And she was here long enough that when the cookbooks came in, she would be in her bed out in the kitchen. And if we baked something and some visitors were there, she says, "Oh, that's really good. That's page 161 in the cookbook. Have you bought one yet?" And so she was a great salesperson. And so those are ways that we kind of have fun and make the most of it. It wasn't going to change her outcome, but it was going to change her journey.